So welcome when you all get in here. Um, I decided to just talk about this because it needs to be talked about. Um, it keeps getting pushed on me to talk about it, so we're gonna go for it. Um, but in there's been like distress calls from the light dimension. Um, so for some of you light workers, there might be I'm getting like stress, a lack of sleep, and it's because you're being called and put into higher vibrations to match to help in this like the light dimension war that's going on. Um, I was in meditation like a few days ago, and it's been sticking with me for a while. I've been having dreams about it and everything. There's these it's just beams of like light, and there's red, blue, green, and yellow, and they're all there, and there's some sort of like there's a war that's going on, but it's not like they're fighting each other. It's like there's this mass, and it was like this purple. I don't want. It's not like mist. It was like sludge, like purple sludge, like dark purple. But there's something about the higher dimensions, like getting up towards like the 33rd degree, like of like vibration. Um, and it's something about the fall from the 33 degree, that the kings and the queens, the gods and goddesses, I should say, has had. There is it's like an unclogging of like ancestral DNA or just something in general inside of you that needs to come out, and it's because you've been in this process of your body crystallizing, excuse me, and entering your crystalline form. Um, but it's something also as well as like the ghosts within you, your higher self. There's something about like your dream state where you're not necessarily in a body in your dream state anymore. You're just observing almost things play out, and it's because you're overseeing, you're overruling something that's happening within that dimension, within whatever time period you're in, within the dream state. You're being called to do a lot more legal work in the system of how things are when you're in the astrals. You know what I mean? Um, like there's an upgrade within your rank, your power. It's something about like a dream state or an astral state. If you're seeing a lot more, like if they're more vivid, like it had more color than usual, they're more vivid. It's because you're being called to those higher dimensions. But I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember something about that blob because it was blocking some sort of traffic from going through. There's like an unclogging in collective that's happening, and it needs like an extra bit of help. And there are just people that are being chosen like at random at this point to help unclog this, especially in like the dream state, including like astral travel. If you've been astral traveling, it's something about going back in the past, even having like reoccurring dreams. There's something that you need to do in those dreams to end up to like just stop having them. There's this need to like take more control over your dream state heavily. There's some sort of like puzzle almost. It's not like I don't want to call it a puzzle, but It's like instead some sort of test that you were supposed to have in person isn't happening in person anymore. It's going to be happening within the dream state. So there's something you need to do within the dream state. Or this is something that you've been going through as well. But there's something that collectively we're all trying to do within the dream state of unclogging this mass. But then it's like your root chakra, your like crown, not crown, but your throat, your heart, and your sacral for the chakras. So think about those chakras. Maybe there's some sort of blockage for that as well. Like you could be having like root chakra problems, throat chakra problems, heart chakra problems, or like sacral chakra issues. Not sacral, solar plexus, excuse me, chakra issues. Or just like pain within those regions. It's because there's something that needs to be unblocked. There's some sort of like physical body pain that you're going through that the divine is trying to get you to look at and to see it in a different light. It's not supposed to be there to hurt you, but there's something that you're not paying attention to that's happening on the physical because of something that you're doing, and they're trying to like get your attention. There's also something about paying attention to signs, like new numbers. The number 13 is very significant at this time, is what I'm hearing. What else is going on here, Spirit? Yeah. It's something about like nurturing yourself going forward. There's something almost like a stop and wait type of energy is what's coming through. There's because it's like there's something in the past you didn't really nurture in a certain way that the divine kind of wants you to look at as well. That's going to help with this unclogging. There's some sort of, and it's like the word "I can't" is like keeps coming up like heavily. It's something about like a way of thinking, a past way of thinking that's no longer like beneficial to you, and you know that it's not beneficial to you. It's like you're getting a chance to rewire this at them heavily, especially like so like listening to subliminals and stuff would really help you, especially like if you're going to sleep or something. Like subliminals would really help you to like rewire your subconscious because there's something that you're wanting to change, but there's some sort of like combat happening that you're needing to change on a spiritual level first. But there's something again. There's like that blockage there that's keeping what's trying to get to you spiritually away from you, and it's that past energy, maybe an energy of fear, a fear of like doing some sort of change that you have. Yeah, with the Nine of Swords, there's a lot of thoughts like fighting your thoughts. There's a lot of like, and then with Cain and Abel there too, like it's this energy if I can't do this, like you feeling like you're unable to do something even though that you know that you can. It's like this big that this fight in your head needs to stop. This fight in your head is causing some sort of like shaking um on the physical, and it's slowly turning you off the like the right path that you're on. But there is a need to like not think anymore and just to relax. This also could be stress about wondering if you completed something right. Some of you might be worried if you completed some sort of ritual the right way, is what I'm hearing as well, and you did. There's just a need to wait. because there's something. Because there's something that you're almost like, you know you have to do something else, but you're not really sure what you have to do now. But there's like a feeling that you need to do something more, like either on the physical and the spiritual, but there's a need to really wait and to pause with the hanged man. There's a need to like wait because there's some sort of enlightenment that's going to be coming towards you, some sort of answer that's going to be coming towards you within like some sort of meditative state or dream state. But it's the astrals are very significant at this time. I just heard your the planetary placements. I'm not sure what the planets are looking like right now, but the planetary placements are very important at this time. Yeah, but there's something about you overthinking or putting a lot of thought into something that's causing a disturbance from what the divine is trying to show you and offer you. And that's like this blockage. Okay, that's the blockage. Thank you, Spirit. That's the blockage that's trying to be removed. Is that blockage of untrust? Is that okay? There's just a major untrust almost in yourself or in the divine that you're aware of, but you're not putting much work into or not knowing how to overcome. Or there's like there's some sort of struggle because you're looking at with Two of Wands, you're even looking at with the Four of Pentacles too. Yeah, it's like you're looking at the past because you know how your actions in the past shaped your reality now, and you're trying to like go in the past and to look at how to reverse some sort of like action or how not to take some sort of step again. But there's a need to like release. There's like an energy of like not wanting to give up or a fear of having scarce. You're forgetting that the world is your oyster. You're forgetting that the world is yours already. And there's just a need to focus your energy on what you want rather than what you don't want. There's a need to really even just start like you thinking one bad thought and then immediately replacing it with a better thought. Yeah, with strength, there's a need to really soothe yourself whenever with the temperance reversed, whenever you're out of control, whenever you feel like things are unbalanced, when you yourself are unbalanced, when you're not really nurturing either part of yourself spiritually or physically. There's a need to really nurture yourself at those times. I don't know why I just heard like I suck at nurturing myself, but like that's something you need to work on. Like you don't. It's less that you're not. It's I don't know. It's not that you're bad at it. It's just it takes time. It takes practice. It takes having an open mind and really wanting it to work. Always just replacing whatever you say is bad with something that's good to at least even it out, because you speak words, you speak curses over your life, and that's like why you're stuck in these places. You saying that you're not good at doing something or that you can't do this or that, it puts that energy out whenever you do those things. There's a need to like uncurse yourself, to undo, to start saying the opposite of like how you used to think and how you used to feel and what you used to say. There's a need to be opposite of it. There's a need to switch back and be more pure to yourself and less pure of the world, because you know you can do anything. It's just something that you know. It's something that you might have forgotten, but it's something that you know deep down, because it's truly what we're here to remember and to learn and to really grasp a hold, is that everything is possible. We just have to be able to do it. Like all these things that we hear and think that are made up aren't made up. They exist. They wouldn't be they wouldn't be anything if it wasn't real. And there's a need to really spiritualize these things and to understand that everything happens in spirit first. This is also like an awakening to doing deeper research. There's something about you being able to dig deeper now as well, if you've been wanting to. Now is a good time to dig deeper. Spiritually, on learning different things or learning like deeper truths or however, there's a need for you to do that at this time. But be gentle with yourself as well, because what you're going to be learning is going to be very mind expansive. And you might, going to jump into it really heavy at first, but don't be afraid to take breaks. Like it's really helpful for you to take breaks during this. There's a lot of mental struggle that's going on. And it's because of like uncertainties or like not having a lot of faith. And again, that just kind of hits on with like these chakras as well. You're not really able to speak what you want to existence because of there's an uncertainty of you being able to create. The root chakra, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. Like those are some good like major points for you in your manifestation. Of course, all your chakras are, but there's something about those chakras that are blocking some sort of being of way of being out with the Eight of Cups as well. There's a need to walk away from that and to go on to better land. Look for better solutions. Look for better ways of saying things. Instead of saying you hate things, say that you dislike them. Instead of saying that you can't do something, say that something is just difficult for you at this moment. Like there's a need to not limit yourself when you have unlimited possibilities and really take that to heart. Um, the biggest part of healing is uncursing yourself from like years and years of curses um, that's been put over you, not only by others but by yourself as well. And this is something that you may be aware of and you're trying to work on. If you are working on it with the Ace of Swords, I am seeing that this really rough work you've been doing is paying off. But there's a need to like not only rest yourself so you're not stressing out as much, but also to make sure that you're mentally doing well, because it's, if you're doing spiritual well, that's good, but then you also have to make sure that you're doing well on the physical plane, on the mental plane, on the emotional plane. You have to keep yourself in check, and there might be just an awakening to seeing what really matters when it comes to health. Is it the food that I'm ingesting, or is it the actual energy that I'm around? There's just like there's more of like there's more of a realization. I'm even getting like a third eye chakra energy where you're perceiving things on a deeper level. It's no longer, oh, why do I do this? It's I understand that I'm doing this to get some sort of like outcome, but why is this one thing tied to that outcome? Or like I understand that like the food that we eat is fake, but the people I'm also hanging out around with, or people that I used to be around with, were also fake. So does that mean that I'm doing better by just eating better but staying in the same cycles, or am I ready to really move on and move out of some cycles? It's like the universe is really showing you these signs and showing you ways of looking at things deeper. And you may be looking at them and accepting them and being like, yeah, this is fine for now. And that's the universe trying to see how much it's going to take to get you to move out. Not saying it's like a bad thing, but the universe is like seeing if you really want to put up with it, and if like how honest you're going to be with yourself. And to just remember that being honest with yourself is not a bad thing. You don't have to tell anyone about how you're being honest. You just keep that between you and the cosmos. Um, but there's just a really big energy of just like you seeing the truth, you being okay with how the truth is, but you not putting that like in your pocket because you're a nice person, but you just doing what you really feel like you want to do rather than what you think you want to do. um without worrying about some sort of like physical altercation or like some sort of physical outcome. You just like, it's solely about like what you want, what you feel is best for you spiritually, what your soul is leading towards you, leading you to next. Goodness gracious, yeah. But this is the wake up call to really pay attention to your feelings, to allow um, your emotions, your feelings to release themselves, and to be seen for like what they are. Like there's like a grand awakening, like something that you're gonna find out um is really gonna open up your it's gonna like open up your consciousness. You're gonna have like an expansion of your consciousness, and it's gonna really allow you to see something from a different point of view. Like things are gonna start making a lot more sense. And it's like it's really going back to like maybe some people are just now figuring out that like the Egyptians, like whenever they had the paintings of people having like red skin and green skin and blue skin like that, how that wasn't like just a lack of having color. They had all the colors that they needed, but they were making actual representations of people. It's like there's some sort of a deeper understanding of things of that nature. Like there's a really big unlearning and relearning and really thinking for yourself that's allowing you to see something from a greater perspective. That's going to allow you to take this blockage out, or at least help collective do it to all together. Um, but we have the tower. This could be some sort of like fall from grace that you might be feeling or experiencing, but you know why it's happening. And the divine, instead of punishing you, the divine's just showing you like, yeah, this is why. Um, but since you understand, like, let's keep going. There's a need to go back to the divine with the Six of Cups to reunite with yourself. Um, to reunite with how you feel with the Five of Pentacles on the bottom because you've left yourself out. There's a need to remember that you are a twin individual. You are two um, entities in one vessel, and you observe both of them at the same time as well. And that's going to really help you soothe in and like understand things on a more elevated perspective, instead of saying like this is my good side and that's my bad side, or this is my white side and that's my black side. Like you don't need to identify things like that anymore. There's not a need to. You know, we're working with frequency, not with labels, and there's a need to really understand that. Like there's a speech, it's change. There's a change of how you're gonna like view words, how you're gonna speak. um you're choosing your words more wisely, understanding like looking at words, like there's just a really a conscious awakening all over that's happening. And it's like it's like it's time to stand up and rise. There's something about like a grand rising as well. It's just a great awakening. Yeah, even with the sun like popping out, like it's something about like a really big awakening in the Seven of Cups, and that's why the spirit needs you to wait. There's like a waiting period to see if you really want to move forward with this new way of being, with this deeper understanding. And it's this, so don't like this is especially like if you're gonna do something and then it's been held off for a while. That isn't the divine saying it's not for you. It's the divine asking you if you're sure you want to go on, because there's some sort of like awakening that you're gonna go through. That's not that once you go through it, there's no going back. Like it's gonna change the perception of your reality of everything around you, and it's gonna be new waters for you to swim in. And the divine wants you to know that you have it, you can handle it. You can handle it. But they're saying enjoy things while you have them now. Because when this new awakening happens, it's going to happen quickly. And it's not like a bad thing, but the divine really wants you to choose what's right for you. What do you feel ready to do this, or do you not? And it's up to you, because you have an eternity to do so. There's no punishment in it. But it's also like it's the last call almost. It's like all aboard, last call. Like the train's gonna be moving off again. Yeah, with the Wheel of Fortune, there just needs to be a need to really rest and to not fight what the divine showing you, and or fight what the divine wants you to do at this time, because you're seeing, it's like you've almost took a glance at life without the divine for a minute to show you like how things used to be. It was like not in a bad sense, but it was like a hey, just to remind you, you got here with us, and if you know, if you want to, like, they're not pushing you to do anything. They're not really trying to blackmail you. They're just showing you like how far you get whenever you really start to unionize with yourself, and like when you start to relate to yourself more, how it's gonna go. And like some of you are like really stuck on this path as well. Like you don't want to jump off. You want to stick on this like grand reunion with yourself, the divine bridge. Um, but again, there's some people that like they're like nervous. They're not so sure if they're wanting to take this next leap because they like it's like the fear of death. It's like this is like a death moment for them. Some like their ego's gonna shed another layer, and their perception on life is gonna change completely. And it's like those are the ones that are like kind of scared to make this next jump, but there's a need to just realize that this next jump is like it's meant for you, and it's gonna transition whatever it's gonna really, even though it's gonna transition how like you like see life, it's gonna push you on the path that you're ready for. There's just a feeling of this energy with death. There's this feeling of this transition about to happen, of this already being a thing that is gonna happen, and there just needs to be an acceptance to it because it's not gonna be as scary or as bad as you think. Um, but there's just a need to really ground yourself. Again, doing root chakra work before you go through any sort of like elevation of this nature really helps, or even during it. Um, because your thoughts have a really strong chance of obscuring how this next chapter is gonna go. Um, and especially, I don't know. I just keep hearing like sleep deprived. I don't know if someone's not been getting enough sleep, but you need to watch out for your sleep schedule. And if it's because of things happening in the astral realms, go easier on yourself. Like, I'm hearing just like eat lighter too. Don't eat like bread. Don't eat anything heavy. Just eat like fruits and vegetables. Like cheese if you have to, but there's a need to like really switch up your diet if you're not sleeping well. There's some because it's something about when you go to the astrals, you're coming back down, but you're not obtaining all sorts of the energy that you're needing. Your body's like filled up with all these carbs and everything before you've gone to bed, and you're not able to receive all of the energy because it's used to while you sleep to like burn all the like to digest the food. Excuse me, I'm having issues talking. Yeah, because there's like a whole change happening. Like your whole like consciousness, your whole being, your auric field, your your light body. I'm hearing even your light codes could be even changing. But there's just a whole of like there's a whole evolution happening, and you really need to listen to your feelings at this time. Or this is even could be the mastery of listening to your feelings and understanding how things go wrong, when they go wrong. All of these like it's just like a really grand conscious awakening, and it's like really beautiful. But again, for some people, it's a little bit scary. Yeah, and it's only scary because of like feelings of something's not going to work out, being bound to just past ways of being, your thoughts being overinflamed and not listening to your feelings. You feel like it's going to be okay, but you keep thinking that it's not going to be okay, and then that makes you think that you're not feeling like it's okay, and your feelings have to follow your thoughts if your thoughts want to have that kind of control. That's where you come in, and as the mediator, literally between the two, to calm them down. But there is a plan that's happening. There is a plan that the divine has put upon you that's already playing out, but there's some sort of like unawareness to it as well. Like that the divine's moving you somewhere differently. You're getting the signs, you're seeing everything, but there's a part of you that's like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna be what I want. I don't know if this is gonna work. Like I'm scared about this. I'm scared about that. But this like scared energy isn't you like actually being nervous or scared. It's your shedding of these old frequencies. It's your whole body like shaking all the atoms, like all the electrons in you, are like moving faster. It's just like literally shaking off old patterns, old ways of being, old, just old energy that you've put in your auric fields and your energetic fields, because we are energy, we are beings of energy. It's like there's something about your auric field that's changing because of like and then that auric field, like it's either a change that's happening because of the way you're speaking, or this auric field change is going to change how you speak, and how you're going to be using words. You might be even using words that you're not really sure the full definition of. There's a need to not look up a definition of it, but look up the origin of the words to have like a more clearer way of seeing, a more pure and more pure way of seeing the word. So yeah, your thoughts aren't dirtying up what you're meaning to say from your feelings, because there's something about you speaking more from your feelings than from your thoughts as well. That's happening. So again, in the world pups, in the world the magician. Yeah, this is some. This is like a brand new you, that's coming to fruition. That's coming to be. But there's just a need to really trust in yourself that you're able to do it, because you've been given what you need from the divine already. You've been given all the gifts. You've been given all the tools. You've completed the course. So now is the time, since you completed the course, to take your achievement, to take your new crown, to sit up on this new throne, and to be on this higher level. I mean, yeah, with the Eight of Wands, it's telling you to move forward, to push on. There's a message like telling you that this is the right time to make that next move that you're needing to make. You know the change that needs to happen. There's a need to make it happen, to allow it to happen, um, at this time, because don't overthink it, because there's something about you overthinking right now that can cause this outcome to be bad. It's like, oh, I don't know if I should cut this person off. I like talking to them, but they don't really, they're not fulfilling me in any way, and I'm just using them to like fill in space for something. Like those are the types of people that you need to leave. But with the Page of Wands, you're seeing who needs, well, who deserves to be in your light, and then who doesn't. And there's an energy of like deserves, and it's not like it in a like egocentric way, but it's more of like who's going to actually want me, to not even want me in the sense of them desiring you to do it, but want you to do it in the sense of like they encourage you to keep this behavior up of enlightening yourself, of being in a higher vibration. It's like you're blocking those people off from having them there, or those types of like energies of like, oh, I could go back and do that. But this is something about you like needing to balance yourself out and get justice. You know what you want, but are you willing to make a sacrifice? And that's what the divine wants you to look at. You might even be having times with people that you didn't think you normally liked, or people that you liked hanging out with, or something like that, like messaging people from the past and things of that nature, where you're looking at it again, and the divine's like, do you want to go back to that? Because we can let you, and we'll let it work out for an extended period of time, or do you want to keep going this way? And there's like a need to, I mean, with the Three of Wands, there's a need to really look at what the divine's trying to show you. Look at spiritualize things. No, don't realize it anymore. Don't use your eyes, your real eyes. Use your actual eyes. Use your spiritual eyes. There's a need to look at something from a higher point of view and to explore your feelings, because there's something about your feelings that you're not paying attention to, and you're looking at things and like, oh, I'm doing all these fun things again. Well, yeah, I'm doing all these fun things again. I'm going to miss doing them. Who says you have to stop doing those things? There's like a need to reorganize yourself and to look at what your feelings are trying to tell you, because there is a union that's happening. There is like messages that are coming from the divine that your thoughts are picking up on, and that's why these meditations, these dreams are getting stronger, or like why you're needing to pay more attention to these dreams that you're having. or even why you've been getting like weird like body pains, just to show you and to symbolize something that on the physical. So like let's say you're having like ear pains. The ear pain is because you're not listening to something, and if it's on the right, you're not listening to something that's happening on the physical that you're aware of. And if it's on the left, it's something spiritual that you're unaware of. There's a need to start looking at your body like that, as you are just this instrument. You're this ghost inside of this vessel as an instrument to alert yourself and to let you know like, hey, this is what you need to do for this and that. Like there's a need to understand your body is much more than what we've been told what a body is. Like we're told that we're all these things, and then we know we have our own electromagnetical field, and we know that we're all connected to the divine, and we know the divine uses like our body to tell us messages. So it's like you need to look at your sicknesses, where you're sick, where all your pains come from, as signs from the divine, because there's something spiritual behind everything. Everything happens in the spirit before it comes down to earth, as above, so below. That's just how the laws work. And there's a need. There's just a really heavy need to see that, and to understand that even like me scratching myself right there, like that has to happen spiritually. That has to be spiritually funded for me to do that. If spirit does not allow me to do it, then it wouldn't happen. The feelings and thoughts and things and ideas that I'm presented and given all come from the divine. They're not just things that happen out of nowhere. There's a need to really dig deep into this and to see like what the divine's trying to show you with everything. um I don't know. Okay, yeah, but so okay, so because I was hearing someone ask it. Yeah, you can use psychedelics to get to that type of that point. Um, you know, if you're a psychonaut and you find it easier to do it that way, you can. That's perfectly fine. If you're wondering if you can, you can. It's like it's fine too. But there's a need to really understand it regardless, because there's a conscious rewiring, goodness gracious, that's happening. um that whether you're aware of it or not, it's going to happen. But like the ones who are aware of it or wanting to be aware of it, there are going to be certain signs that you're going to be needing to be more open to seeing. Yeah, but there's signs that you're going to be given with the Ace of Cups. With the Two of Swords are going to be blocked off because you're not perceiving something as a spiritual thing, and you're seeing something as like, oh, this is an attack, or oh, this is something bad. It's like the divine is trying to show you something. Hey, no, you're not. It's not an attack. We need you to do this because this is happening to you. We got you covered, but now you need to worry about these things. Whatever is popping up, and you're like, oh, you get a reading and you hear in the reading and it resonates that like some sort of like chakra blockage is happening. That's not because someone's putting it on you. It's because the divine needs you to unblock those chakras. Even if you feel like they haven't been blocked or you don't know why they'd be blocked, they over time, through our subconscious actions, through our actions throughout the day, our chakras get powered up or drained from their energy. They either speed up or slow down. Sometimes they can go in reverse if they start to drain and to cause negative side effects to us as well. But there's a need to understand that that's how fluent and how the energy works within our body and our vessel. Um, so just understand that these blockages don't always happen from people attacking. They can happen strict. They can happen from us too. And it's not. There's like a mindset to of getting out of like thinking that talking and seeing things in this nature will make you like, oh well, that's just like saying that none of the magic attacks I've been under is real. Like, no, it's not saying that at all. It's like there's just a need to understand where it comes from, because if you project out negative energy to someone, or you say someone's doing something to you that they're not, that energy comes back to you as that side effect. Like that would be your karma. So there's just a need. There's like a greater understanding of like how important it is to keep your energy guarded and to really put no blame on anyone. The whole law of judge not least ye be judged comes into effect no matter who you are, which is why it's important to listen to your feelings. because there could be some sort of like regret or false statement that you might have said about someone or thought about someone that recently got debunked or something, and you've been wondering why something's not been going right. It's because of that as well. But there's just a need to understand that once a culprit has been found, that all you have to do is forgive them and then move on. There's a need to really shift your energy and your focus away from things that you do not like at this time. If it does not, if it's there, like, are you getting entertainment from it because it's funny, or are you getting entertainment because it's funny and it's someone that did you dirty? You know what I mean? Like, pay close attention to the thoughts behind why you're doing something, and don't talk yourself out of it either. Like, be honest and transparent with yourself, because there's a need to understand if it's because of an unhealed part that needs healing still. So you're watching those videos, that's completely fine. But if you're watching it because you're like bored and you have nothing else to watch, that's taking up time that you could be spending with the divine. That's taking up time that you could be doing working on yourself. And there's nothing wrong with watching it for entertainment if you're solely just doing it for entertainment, but just knowing where and what your purpose is, making sure your intentions going into watching some sort of video or anything is of a high vibration and not because of something on a lower vibration. Anything that would be resonating with jealousy or getting some sort of revenge or that's what they deserve. Anything on that, like, confrontational vibration, if you're doing it for any of those reasons, there's something that you need to heal from that the divine's trying to show you. If you're simply just watching a video because you're wanting to know what's up, that's, that's fine. Just making sure that you keep your energy clean, and because you can do whatever you want, but there's a need to really keep your um, energy very, very clean, despite what you do. um, I mean, especially with the high priestess being out, there's like an it could even just be like a more understanding of your energy, and like, though you need to be like keeping it to yourself, there are ways to do so even around the lowest of vibrations. There's always around a situation. Even just an understanding of you being light, you're gonna be surrounded by darkness. Like, just because you're light doesn't mean you're gonna be surrounded by a bunch of other light. You're gonna have some people in your life that are still gonna be on that lower dark vibration because that's who you attract. Does that mean you reject them and call them names and whatever? No. You you stay until you feel like you don't need to. And if you feel like you just don't want to off bat, then don't. But be honest with yourself. Are you scared of hearing the word dark? And if so, why have you allowed that word to be so perverted and distorted in your mind to scare you? Why have you put yourself underneath that spell? Use your power more wisely, use your words more concise, understand the feelings that you have attached with the word, and eliminate the fear that word brings up to really see, like, the truth, what the divine has for you. There's a need to really do that. Um, and just even understanding that words are spells in everything. There's just a need to really understand that as well. And to understand that it's not just like, oh, you're looking into things. It's like, no, it really is, because you will say things that you know are one thing, but the word means, because of the, like, its pronunciation, its vibration. The only thing the universe knows is vibration. It's why you don't go around telling people have a good morning. You're telling them to have a good time mourning. You're telling them to mourn. It's like, rise up, say something else, like say great rising or grand rising or something else other than good morning. Like, there's these simple things that we say, like a weekend is weakened. Like, when you get hit, that area of your body gets weakened or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's words of wordplay is very important. And there's might be an awakening to that as well. That's like kind of like shaking up the world a little bit for you. But allowing yourself to express your emotions, because I don't know, I just picked up on someone crying, so don't feel bad for expressing your emotions, and don't feel bad for not knowing. There's just an energy of you being aware of these things, allowing your reactions to happen as they are pure and from the divine. Just allow yourself to ease into these things because they are like, especially for like um, the newer gens that are coming into this. Well, the older gens that are newer coming into spirituality. It's a lot rougher on them because they're realizing because it's like the facade broke for them, and it's that's like a lot of their life. There's just a need not to look at it from such a lower vibrational standpoint. Understand that you seeing it, you experiencing and understanding things from like the I guess if you want to say the age that you are, you can say it that way. But understanding that you have experience um, in one in the change of the Great Awakening. Um, so allowing your feelings to be a fuel for getting knowledge and for fighting back with the light and for standing the ground that you wish to see and to really elevate the vibration of the world to if and don't forget to use the energy that the divine gives you for that as well. But of course always nurture yourself and make sure um, that you're nurtured up because I just keep hearing like grand warrior awakening like there's like a whole new group. There's new sets of leaders, there's new sets of like people coming in and really getting their first steps stabilized on the journey for the next 6 months. There's a lot of stabilization happening, a lot of new roots being planted, a lot of old roots being ripped out. This like next 6 months are going to be a very transformative 6 months. No matter if your physical changes much, this is an internal, a spiritual changing that's going to really blossom and like be nurtured during this winter time. Um, then there's a need to really focus more spiritually on things, and even if it's not something that you practice, just being aware of it. Well, like even watching videos on it to understand things deeper, but not understanding it fully enough to like practice it or see the full importance of doing it, that doesn't matter. The fact that you're just taking in this information and you know it, even if you want to reject it, there's just a need to really allow people to know. Um, because even if they reject it, that seed's planted subconsciously. That seed is still planted. And that's all we can do as messengers is plant seeds. We can't force anyone to do anything. It's up to them. All we do is plant seeds. So plant your seeds. It don't matter like if it's good soil or bad soil. Eventually, the seed will be able to blossom. Either this lifetime or the next lifetime. It doesn't matter. It will all. It's always there. The the soul and the spirit remember everything. And not everyone has um the soul. So we'll talk about that. I mean, if you know about that, you know about that. But not everyone has a soul, which is why a lot of people don't remember anything, and they're so resistant to agreeing with anything. They're not soulless in the sense of it being bad, but their soul is just gone. It's not nourished at all. It's just they are being recycled until they wake up. Placeholders, however you want to call them. It doesn't necessarily matter. The ones that really know, um, we'll talk about that soon. We'll talk about the reptilians at some point. It doesn't matter. We'll get to it at some point. And there's nothing good or bad, so don't like split up any connotations. People want to say things are good and bad without realizing everything's like neutral. Everything is just it's just fine the way it is. Um, but regardless, there's a need to really draw up information from within you, and to allow the divine to manifest information. Like I feel like there's a lot of like books or like videos that you've been seeing or like reading or manifesting up to help you along the path as well that you're needing to like really invest in at this time with the Seven of Wands, because it is something about after you put in this effort to make this change, there's a need to like rest and rejuvenate some sort of mind, some sort of mental energy that you're having. Um, and this could even just be breaking curses as well. Yeah, this is something. Yeah, you're. This is definitely like you're. This is about breaking of the chains that you're needing to do. It's like you. There's something. It's like you're almost there, but there's something that you don't want to agree with because of the fear of like, oh, I don't want to move forward. But we have the Chariot. It's like I don't know. You're afraid that if you move forward, then like everything you had is gonna fall apart, or it's just gonna like disappear, or you're feeling like something is just gonna be too hard to continue doing if you have a new outlook on something. It's like it's giving like you've known how to bake cakes your entire life one way, and someone tells you to make the cake differently and you're afraid of messing up the cake because you're doing it differently, all you have to do is pay a bit more attention. There's something about you needing to just pay a little bit more attention um, to what the divine's trying to show you, to what the divine really desires you to be aware of for your highest good. And there's a difference of like what you want to know and what the divine has for you to learn this lifetime. So understanding that as well. If something's not going your way, it's because the divine doesn't want you doing that at this time. It's not meant for you at this time. There's something about there being a bit more strict on you as well. And it's not to punish you, but it's to keep you really like on the right path, to keep you corrected. So what else is going on here, Spirit? What else is going on here? Okay. Yeah, this is a cycle. Okay, hold on. We had a lot that came out. My bad. So we have the moon, the fool, the empress, the star, and strength. This is definitely a cycle. It's like I don't know. It's like it's really a new cycle of connecting yourself again. It's like disconnecting you to plug you back in for a stronger connection. Is how I'm picking it up. And again, it's something about you being like an actual like light warrior. Like in the astrals, you are a single strand of light channeling through like yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. Um, because there's not really any words to describe it. It was very odd to see, but there's like cities that are like monochromed. But like even monochrome doesn't, technically doesn't even exist as a term. It doesn't make sense for it to be. Anyway, but there's like different shades of just a single color for all these like towns, and it wasn't like it was like neon lit, and it's something about like down to that basis. It's something about being on that high frequency of just being nothing but light, and it's in its non-fractured form. And it's something about it being fractalized. There's something about you not receiving something in a wholeness that you're supposed to be receiving it in. And it's because of like a mental unclarity that they're trying to push you to see. And it could be a simple understanding of like how words work, or just like a deeper understanding of self, or a true understanding of who you are and what makes you a god or a goddess, or like knowing um there's like this seeing for the truth for what it is. It's like there's a point where I'm rubbing my face a lot. I'm not stressed out or anything. I'm just like there's a lot of downloads coming in, and it's like it's almost like refreshing. But there's this energy of, like, deep down inside that some, like, you're attracting your tribe, and that these people that you're being able to connect with, and these people that talk about the same entities and deities that you do, you're seeing how everything's working and how you create your own world in that sense. And there's a need to hype, like, really pay attention to that on multiple levels. Even if you aren't comfortable communicating, or saying that, or like, you're just someone who just watches, but you still resonate and you don't really like comment or anything. There's a need to understand that you're there for a reason. The divine doesn't bring you somewhere for no reason, and it's not even like the trolls that are around. You're not there just to troll. The divine showing you something that you need to be a little bit more aware of. Um, and there's like an awakening of that. And I feel like that's where this fear is coming from, because now, because like this, if this energy keeps poking through of like, I'm afraid that I don't have any control over my life, like that type of energy, like someone feels like the divine is playing like a puppeteer game with everyone, but that's not how it is at all. Like everything is divinely orchestrated. It doesn't matter if it's good, like if you want to define it as good or bad, it's all happening divinely. It's all divinely instructed. It wouldn't happen if the divine didn't say so. There's the need to understand that as well, and how everything is for you. Nothing is against you, everything is for you. If it's against you, it never was for you. Like, these understandings are going to be drilled in deeper, and it's like you're really seeing differently and understanding things on a new level. Yeah, with the sun on the bottom, that's it's your observations are getting, I want to say brighter, but I also want to say stronger. um I'm just like, it could be like a DNA strand, like your the junk DNA, as they call it, um is definitely getting some sort of upgrade. Like there's some sort of actual, like, energetic transfer happening to some sort of dormant. Yeah, I mean, shit. Yeah, it's all about, like, I don't know, this is just beautiful. Hold on. But we're gonna read this real quick. Education, which is 12. Your soul. You have learned to wear a mask when you're in contact with others. Learn to show some things but keep others to yourself. Learn to rely on what others want. Learn to take all criticism into account, even if not constructive. These things you have learned disrupt our connection and communication. They connect you to your mind, while you can hear my voice is from very far away, like a barely perceivable whisper. Today, release the things that you have learned that they no longer hold meaning to you. Find a new connection with me. Rediscover your inner beauty, rebuild your frame of reference, allow your own ideas and wants to flourish. This will help you hear me again as a calm, clear, and gentle voice. Your spirit guides want you to know part of you is attached to a single way of contacting us. You may feel like you need a specific ritual to communicate with us. This is not so. You only need to open your heart and speak honestly and sincerely, whether out loud or in a whisper. Practices exist to help you connect to your inner being, but we are always here because you have your free will. We can't dictate or act for you, but our presence is strong. You can get in touch with us through astral journeys. If you need specific signs, we invite you to meditate. It will help you to feel our presence and to understand our messages. Create your own rituals. Distance yourself from old beliefs. You're evolving, and so it is your practice. Have confidence in yourself. The entity wants you to know, I was conditioned by my education in my past life. I thought it was normal, and I reproduced the same education myself. Though I thought rules set down since forever ago were the best, and I thought being a good person meant copying what has always been without trying to define new rules. Rules, norms, and frameworks were so important to me. Now I realize this closed my eyes to important things prevented me from questioning. I didn't even question myself. I detach myself from these things now, and I invite you to do the same. Create your own frame of reference. In the next few days, I will manifest myself through music you will be listening to. You'll realize it's me because the words will make you smile. You'll understand the message I'm trying to send to you. Create your own freedom. I am working so you may do so. Now, it is very important. So like I'm getting like heavy again, just like rewriting and just not being afraid of like, this could even be like a jump that someone's trying to make from Christianity to a new way of like seeing, and it's like, oh, I don't want God to be mad at me, but it's not that you're afraid of God being mad at you, because you know that God's not going to be mad at you, God, Mother, Father, but it's your definition of God is going to change, because it's not going to be based off of what Christianity defines God as. It's going to be whatever you're choosing next, or regardless of what you want to call, or whatever religion you follow, or whatever you're doing, you're seeing God as something much more than how it is, and there's like a fear of doing that because you feel like you're doing something wrong. Um, when that's the energy of feeling wrong isn't like the feeling of it being wrong. It's this feeling of you shedding. It's you morphing. It's you really breaking old patterns that you've like grown into, and that uncomfortability may have kept you stuck in certain groups, certain energies and places for so long, and you feel like you need to move out and grow and do something. But the thing is, what you keep thinking, the energy that you keep cycling through, that you need to leap out of and go into a new cycle with, has been keeping you held back. So switching your mind, allowing your mind to be flowing. It does not stagnate. It is not going to always say one thing. Your mind is there to roam free. So allow it to just roam free. Don't ever stick with a solution and be like, oh, this is 100% going to work. Allow the divine to lead you down the path that's going to 100% work. There's a need to there's like an understanding of that too, but it's like you wouldn't have such a strong pull to do something if the divine didn't want you to do it. You know? And there's like a need to really get that and understand, and to shape your perception differently based off that. Um, because there is like old views that you have that are kind of keeping you stuck. And this could be an old cycle of, oh, I've seen myself do this and I get this when I'm doing that, but now I'm doing this and I'm no longer receiving the same outcome. It's because the divine wants you to keep put that energy that you were putting into that one thing into something better that you keep getting nudged to do. But you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that though, because if I do it there, I have to start all over when I have this, and this is giving me what I want sometimes, which is better than none at the start, which doesn't necessarily make sense because you know you'd be doing more. It's like you're settling for what you have rather than what you desire, and there's a need to really see that for how it is, and see like, oh, this is the divine talking to me. Yes, that's the divine talking to you. That those nudges, those feelings of doing this, the energy that it holds. Maybe you're having a hard time adjusting to that frequency that the divine wants you to jump to. So when you're sitting it, you get exhausted and you come back down for a minute to relax. Like doing that, ease yourself into it, because these are bigger situations, bigger places that you'll be sitting in energetically, sitting in higher places consciously as well. And there's just a need to really remember that no matter how big and aware you are, to remember how where you're placed at. Um, and it's okay to venture, but don't stay grasping onto anything. Allow yourself to flow and to fly through this realm. Um, we're not here to stay stagnant and to expect an outcome to happen. We're here to just experience and to be grateful for anything that comes our path. Um, so some sort of like aggravation from the divine is present too. And it's like this energy of, well, I was told this was going to happen and it resonated with me, but then it didn't happen. And because you were supposed to do something, and you got messages of, oh, you're supposed to do something, and you were like, oh, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, so the divine's going to give me a sign that I need to do something. And then they gave you a sign by saying that you need to do something, but it's this energy of not knowing what you needed to do, and it was not listening to what your feelings were trying to show you at that time, is why something didn't come through. So there's some sort of like stagnant aggravation at the divine that isn't like hurting anything, but it needs to be acknowledged because it's appearing on you, on your physical body. It's appearing as like some sort of pain or ache that you're getting. Look up what body part hurts, relates to what chakra that is, and that will tell you like what you've where like this energy is, where things have gone wrong, what you need to work on next, what you need to do. Um, but other than that, this like anger at the divine is more of an anger that you're having at yourself, but you're so used to putting a scapegoat, and it's like, oh well, the reason I'm upset is because blah blah blah. You're upset because you think you're upset. You're allowing this feeling to immediately be defined by a thought that then changes that feeling to what that energy you sent to that thought is. So you're only expecting a certain thing to occur, and it's because you've attached yourself too much to it. The law of detachment is very important. It's not just there to help you manifest, it's there to really allow you to flow through life, as well, to be truly free and not stuck by the realms of it, like how things come to you or by your external circumstances. Like that's not how we're supposed to be living, and that's something that your soul knows and wants to do. But in order for it to even receive that type of fulfillment, you first need to be able to step into these positions of really flowing through and moving around. And it's something about, maybe like even in the astrals, is how I'm picking up something about the astral realm, where you've been floating around a lot more. You've been really just seeing things from like different points of views. You've been having dreams that involve like past friends or family members in like old wooden cabins, I'm seeing. And it's something about like you cutting ties in the astral realms with people, and that's why you're having dreams with them. Like you're strangely calm around certain family members in your dreams that you used to be upset at in the dream state. Like there's a cutting of the ties, there's an ending of people coming into your energy. Is like the hammer's dropped, like judgment's really being called on people, and they know that they shouldn't have done something to you because you're the first person. It's like you're, I don't know, if someone wants to know, like you're the first person that comes to mind for a lot of people. Like you, if someone knows that they've done something to you, whether you know about it or not, like they do think that there is an energy that is attached to you that allows people to know, yeah, this is because like you messed up with this person. And even if they don't want to be consciously aware of it or to acknowledge it, they still get the sign that like it was something about you. And it's not like they think witchcraft or anything, but it's definitely like the divine shows them why. It's like just like the divine will show you why and make certain things make you mad because of certain people, or to show you certain ways you should have responded by making them come up in your head like later, like after an argument or something. That's the same way that the divine is showing these other people. It's the same fashion. That's how it's done. And there's a need to understand that when you get these memories of people and you react and you're like, yeah, they deserve that, the divine's trying to show you something that isn't quite healed yet, and they want you to work on it and to be aware of it, but there might not be a full understanding of being aware of that. But there's the need to really talk love and comfort around a situation in totality, and not just for what you think you're comfortable for. um being beings of love and light, being infinite beings of love and light, I should say. There's always love that comes first. Without love, nothing would even be. This world wouldn't exist. Like this realm wouldn't even, like nothing would exist without love. Like we gotta understand that first off and foremost. Like the reason why my body is attached is because the fucking atoms like each other so much that they'll stick together, if they didn't like each other and they separated, I would not be here. You wouldn't be here. Nothing would exist. There would be no reason. Like if there was hate, there'd be nothing. Like that's the darkness right there. Like you want to compare that to something, compare it to any time you hear about the darkness or like the great blackout or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? That's all it meant. The second love hit light, love came in, everything changed. So just understanding that you need to have love. If to connect yourself to the energy of having them away from you and out of your energy is to send them love, because at that point you start to realize that like this energy of hate, it's trying to escape you. It doesn't want to make you even more mad. It just wants out. Your emotions want to be expressed. Their energy will stay stagnant. It will keep trying to get out, but it will stay stagnant until it's either released and transmuted or exploded out after a bunch of energy is bottled up. Like that's why like bottling up emotions, you have bigger outbursts because you've literally kept in so much anger, and it's no longer just anger at a specific thing that you shouldn't really be mad at in the first place. It's more of like anger for everything, like that small minor inconvenience of you being brought up with like a childhood memory of you being five and something happening. That small anger gets added to the pool of other existing emotions and it makes it enlarge because then it's all mixed up. So there's a need to really just be more open with yourself. Like, don't be afraid of your emotions. You're under this perception that emotions are bad, and you feel like they're bad because they're not emotions of, oh, I love you. They're emotions of, oh, I hate this bitch. Or, oh, I don't like doing these things. And there's the need to understand that those emotions are completely valid. You can feel them, you can express them, but do not express them in the form of sending them actual hate. Just say what you need to say, get it out of your system, and then cleanse. Don't just cleanse yourself, but cleanse the person that you might have sent a curse to. Just like work on it step by step. It's not something that you can easily do, but you need to understand that even if you talk bad about someone that you think deserves it, that gives them fuel to deserve why they should talk bad about you. And if you don't talk about them, that energy that they're getting from that a lot of people can, like some people can pick up on it too. Some people get like their ear will itch or their nose will twitch whenever people are talking about them, like those types of responses. Like people have gifts like that, but regardless, that energy that you send to them will come back to you because that's your energy, and your energy is, oh haha, that's what they get. So then you're in this weird combat loop of you and their past. So you're stuck in their past and they'd be stuck in your past. It's like that weird energy where you don't want to get like time looped in that. But you need to send cleansing energy to both parties, to all. Even if it's not accepted, it's not bad. It doesn't do anything bad. It shows that your heart is, that shows that you're trying to really purify your heart. It shows that you're really trying to step up. And it's not about, being a bigger or better person. Don't let your ego fall for that weird trap. That is like one of the oldest tricks in the books. There's nothing about being a bigger or better person for forgiving someone or loving someone despite what they did. That's just called being true to yourself. Okay, like, yeah, there's some people in this world that do that, but you know that you're not one of those people. Don't let someone's thoughts about what they feel like you're doing something for override your true motives for doing something. They don't know what your actual motives are. They can only assume. And some people will just make up the worst shit um, to validate their own, reasons to not like you. So don't allow yourself to soak that in. Just allow it to be known. And even if you know someone's like talking shit about you because they just don't like you to that point, and just, you know, the saying, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all, really comes into play. Like, just don't engage in that same energy. Because it's like, because I've noticed this energy a lot, especially within like tarot readings. There's like a pointing of the fingers where People want to go, oh well, they started it, and oh well, that bitch shouldn't have done this to me, and what? Well, here's the thing, honey, you shouldn't be doing that either. Like if you don't want them talking bad about you and laughing at you when there were things aren't working out, don't do it to them. And you can throw the argument of, yeah, they did it first, but what is that even doing? Like, why are you making an argument out of something? Like, do you just want someone to feel this aggravated energy with you? Are you operating off of the forces of misery because you're upset and they supposedly aren't because you aren't seeing it? You want them to be upset. You're confessing your pain from revenge, which isn't a bad thing, but understand that there's a better way of handling it, because that anger only holds you back and not them. Um, because then you like once you start going into those hate emotions, you start to carry on the guilt of, oh, I'm a divine being of love and light and I shouldn't be doing this, and now I'm stuck in between hating someone and then knowing that I shouldn't be hating them. So you get yourself stuck in those types of situations that then you have to break free of of the place that you put yourself in, you know? So just being more aware of your energy in that type of way. Like there's a lot of like self actualization that's happening. And it's like this could even be leading to a lot of past life regression too. And I'm not meaning like full on past life. I'm also meaning like childhood, adolescence, things of that nature, where you did things to certain people and you kind of look back and see how the karma played out and things of that nature. Some people might be going through that a lot as well. And allow yourself, I'm being told this is very important, allow yourself to um, take the awareness of that as a divine blessing. Like the divine is blessing you to be aware to that point. And that just means you learned the lesson in its full entirety. So if you are realizing things in the past that you did and how they relate to the karma or how things played out in your life, don't allow those moments to really tear you down and to make you feel bad. Allow that to be like the divine showing you, yeah, this is what you did, and you understand the punishment. That's you learned your karma. You did what some people can't fathom to do, and you did it not only spiritually, but you did it to your. You probably said it out loud, like, "Oh yeah, I did do that," you know. So it's like you're fully out like actualizing it, and it's allowing you to really move forward on these in these new parts. Always allow yourself to express emotions, and not being like, oh, I don't need to express my emotions, I'm tough. Like, no, you're stuck in the matrix still. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but it's someone needed to hear it like that. But it's like you're still stuck somewhere that's not where the divine wants you to be. Everyone has emotions. The fact that you don't feel like you need to cry is because you set up boundaries to keep yourself from feeling that way. Whether you are aware of it or not, like anything, any type of reaction that you have, whether it's a reaction or a lack thereof, is because of some sort of mental programming that you put on yourself. That's how we operate, you know. So don't allow yourself to, like, be honest with yourself. Instead of saying, oh, I don't ever cry, just be like, I haven't cried in a minute, because there's something that the divine wants you to know. And it's really like paying attention to how you speak, how you respond about yourself, how you respond when people talk about you or talk about things that you're into. Your response about those things are going to really reflect who you truly are, despite the mask that you try and put on. Um, and that's based off of like multiple interactions that you've had with people that were into things that you liked and didn't. It's like all the truth of you is being revealed to yourself, and it's like peeling off a boiled egg. Like you're being very delicate with it, but it's also there's a lot that the divine's showing you. I hope you can hear me. I'm sorry I'm talking out to the distance here. I hope you guys can still hear me. Well, I didn't even realize until that now, but I'm just like channeling. Um, but that's like really heavy what needs to be talked about. Um, and just really actualize as well. Um, there's just like the really like I don't know, it's something I can't stop seeing it because it keeps popping up. It's like really this war of like beads, like beams of light that's going on right now, and it's like on a grid map. There's something to like it's something about like the crystallization of your body is being stopped by like the those four chakras again. I need to look at the root chakra, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, and the solar plexus. There's something blocking those chakras from being able to communicate. Um, because not it's not just every chakra is connected up and down. Every chakra is connected to every chakra. If one chakra is out of whack, it can throw off multiple other ones. We're all it's like very it's a whole system inside of us, and there's something that's blocking the system for those chakras to be able to connect. And it could just be a full on a totality of believing in what the divine is showing you, or believing in your abilities, or believing in yourself, and not just believing in yourself but speaking it, because you're seeing it but you're not speaking it. You're acknowledging it but you're not speaking it. You're not comfortable in it. It makes you uncomfortable still to really see who you are, and not who you are in the flesh, and not who you want to limit yourself to, but who you truly are. And there's some sort of uncomfortability in knowing that. And it could be because of like past life regressions, or it could just be you not understanding it fully yet, and you needing to understand it fully. Like there's a complication within that. But it's again, it's about just easing yourself into it. Um, some of you may be going through like an ego death as well, and I don't know why. Like, okay, I am being told. I don't know why I'm getting this. This is funny, but someone's been thinking that they should do shrooms. Like this would be a beneficial time to. We have some powerful moons coming up, so be careful. What is it tomorrow? The full moon tomorrow, or something. So I'd be careful because the moon energy is gonna be a little bit like skyrockety, but there is like an energy of um and a continuation, like an upgrade that's gonna happen, or a more like realization. Just some there's like new. It's like just like a mystery is gonna be solved. Mystery that you've really been paying attention to. It's more of like an internal mystery that you've had about yourself. That's about the show itself. All in all, and just the need to really understand um truly who you are. And it's not like I don't know. There's something about you, like you know that you're more than what you say you are, but you want to live up to that standard of what you say you are so bad. And it's because of your ego. I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is like what's coming through. Because there's some sort of like title of, oh, I am this of such and such. Like, nice. It's okay, but like you don't need to allow your whole life to be ruled by just knowing you're that. Understand you're so much more than that, because that in itself limits you. And that's like a pill to swallow, is to hear that that's ego. It's a spiritual ego. Um, and even if you're not feeling like you're higher than anyone else, you're still giving yourself a title of importance based off of like how you are spiritually. And there's nothing wrong with knowing your rank, and there's nothing wrong with it. Do what you need to do. But understanding where that kicks in and how it kicks in. And though you might not believe that it shows that it does. And again, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's something about like a higher consciousness where it's like you're no longer really identifying with who or what you are anymore. You more or less just use like your name as like just a badge number at this point. You know what I mean? Like I'm playing as this person. Like I'm not. It's, you know what I mean. Like there's just like a higher just knowing that you're really starting to like seep into and understand it. Like I'm not my name, and it's like you've known you're not your name, but now it's really clicking. Like no, I'm not my name. I'm literally my name is made because of this physical body. Like this physical body is named that. I'm not named that. We all have a true name. And some of you might even know what your true actual name is. Um, but it's like it's something about your soul is trying to grab you down and to show you something a little bit more exciting about who you are and what your title really is. And it's your tight hold on this title that you have that's not making you want to dig deeper because you feel like you've dug deep enough and you're comfortable where you're at. There's there's a bit of a deadly sin playing within that. Um, Apathy, I think, is what it is, right? I think where you're just like okay with it. I think it's the I can't remember the actual name. I probably got that wrong. Um, oh God, I talked about this with someone recently. Actually, I forgot. I think it was apathy that I used. I can't remember the exact. It's okay. Um, but you're showing that you're okay being in that position, which is an egoic state. The ego wants to get comfortable. Um, the ego gets tired of exploring. The ego gets tired of doing things. The ego just wants to sit and relax. The spirit wants to always adventure and to do something new. The spirit is always young. The ego is old. It ages. It believes within the time matrix. It believes that every ticking second we're dying, so that every day our hairs have to turn grayer, and I'm this old so I have to have this many wrinkles. Like that's our ego. The spirit is young at always. Spirit is everlasting, eternal, and there's a need to understand that deeply. And that's what I really mean by knowing your true name. Um, and you can tie that back with however far you want to go back. But when you hit, I'm trying to find out how to. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Let me figure this out first, because it's something just about like the deeper soul journey. I can't really word it out in a way that would be coherent. It's just something about just like the deeper understanding. This is something that you would just. This is one of those felt not heard situations. Like you feel when this awakening happens. This is the type of awakening that, like when you have it, when your soul fully envelops in it, it gives you like a feeling of your soul releasing itself and breaking free. It's like I don't know. It's like it's I don't know how to describe it. It's just the feeling of when your soul is really like it breaks that shell. It's that awakening. It's that waking I should say that you get, and it's something. It's just something about that feeling that's like about to come back, or it's come back in multiple spurts. But again, it's something about like a Kundalini awakening as well. But there's just like an overhaul, like upgrade to your vessel, to your DNA, to your spiritual, etherical, emotional, mental bodies. I don't know. There's a need to not. There's a heavy need not to forget how infinite you are. Like I'm really getting that. There is some sort of limiting belief where you're like, oh, this can't happen, and it's not true. Anything can happen. You had anything could happen. A zebra could fall through the ceiling. Like the world is like anything could happen. Everything has already happened in on this world. I know that sounds like bizarre to even say, but that's how bizarre it gets. Anything is possible on this realm. It is due to the collective consciousness. It is due to the consciousness of yourself and of others and of those of around you that have the limiting beliefs that cause those things not to exist. Um, and it's weird to think like that, to understand that, but it's the tug of war, it's the balance, just how we keep things stable. So those things, though they happen, it's like very rare that like an animal falls through a roof and like does something. It's a rare occurrence, but it happens because it's something that has to be pleased. The human conscious wants to have that happen. So by design, our conscious will create those events to happen. That's the God within us. We create things all the time. Every day, we're doing spells and magic, and we're acting like we don't. You know, when we do every day, and then people get uncomfortable with it. But then, like that uncomfortability is then like a spell on yourself that you've created. It's just like a whole thing, and it's really understanding it. And it's not in the sense to be like, oh, you have no imagination. It's more of in the sense of like really seeing the world for what it is, and seeing what magic really is. And it's not as hard as you make it seem. Um, and again, that goes back to rituals. Some of you are very powerful, and there's like some of you that are wanting to get into like working in like ritual works and stuff. There's a need to listen to your intuition because there's a lot that you can do with what you have and you're not really sure how to because you're trying to think about it. Allow your feelings to do it. There's something about like even for like a spiritual bath that you're trying to do, I'm even getting like let your intuition guide you. There's something about what you intuitively know your body needs because your body speaks this language that you don't understand because you haven't been aware of it. The ancients knew, the ancestors knew, the Kemets, or the Gypsies, they knew, and that's what we are rediscovering, not remembering. We're rediscovering it because we can't remember what we truly never forgot. Our soul remembers everything, which is the complication in trying to hide information. Is our soul knows what's out there. Our soul will always find what it wants. Um, but understanding that and grasping that will help a lot. Um, but yeah, there's it's just something about the connection that you have. There's a certain sort of like very pure connection. Like there's one stream that you do, there's something that you do to get the divine's attention a lot, and the divine wants you to switch elements. So the elements they go fire, fire goes to water, water goes to air, air goes to earth. Okay? So fire, water, air, earth. If you're doing fire things, switch to water. If you're doing water, switch to more air. If you're doing air, switch to more ground, crystal work. If you're doing a lot of ground, switch to fire. There's something where you switch your element or to add an element to what you're doing as well. So let's say you're saying what you want, like oh I'm doing a lot of prayer work, so I'm using magic of the element of wind, of using voice of air. Um, Add like if you want to do fire, say your intentions, have a prayer candle. If you want to do water, say your intentions over water and then drink it. If you want to use more, if you want to have earth, physically write them down. You don't have to go out and buy crystal, do all these other things. Each element represents something to the point of physical. Like that's the whole point of alchemy. Like not all water is going to be like drinking water. Water is emotions. Water is your intuitive thought. The fire isn't just like actual fire. Fire is allowing ideas to cook, is similar to the soul, the feeling, the actual essence of the divine. You know, air just isn't going out in nature or just speaking. Air is any type of communication, anything that allows, like air could even technically be electricity if you really went down to it, just because of it being communication. And then earth is anything on the physical realm. You can post it, note it, you can do whatever you want. But there's a need to add a new element to what you're doing. And just understanding and getting more comfortable with certain ways of life that you're understanding or seeing that haven't been as comfortable. There's a need to understand that as well. Um, there's just a grand, more mind-boggling, consciously awakening uh, energy that's happening, where things make more sense, but then also leave you in like a really weird limbo area. Allow that to just soothe you and to really like coach you into this next season, because that's the mentality, that's the energy that's going to be present in this next stage of life, and they're trying to get you aware of it so that when these things happen you're not all over the place and crying and exploding. You might cry a little bit, I don't know, depending on how stressed out you get. I don't know, I cry when I'm stressed sometimes, but regardless, I don't know where that came from. Regardless, like this next step, it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be not only like a whole mental shift, but it's gonna be an environmental shift. But it's not to tear you down. It's to show you like how this new mindset works. It's showing you, it's like you bought the car and now the dude's telling you like, so this is how you drive the car. Like this is, this is your like your tutorial almost for your next steps. But in order to even get to the tutorial, you have to be able to step into this energy and be familiar with it. You don't have to be comfortable with it. You don't have to like it, but just know that this is where you're gonna be at and move at your own pace. And just take it like you're actually driving a car, because you're driving yourself in a whole new location, with mentals. There could also be a need of clearing some archons as well. Um, I posted it on my community tab a while ago. I'll post it again. But some of you might need to do a elimination of archons to keep certain um, outcomes that you've been wanting to happen and desiring to happen due to influences of like media or the external. Doing archon removals will help with that a lot. Um, so some of you might need to be doing those as well. But overall, just keeping your energy more clean, being more aware of your energy, thinking a little bit deeper, things of that nature that are happening, um, allow them to happen, because this is a nurturing of your soul. This is what your soul's been needing, to help these next seeds grow, to keep things afloat for the winter is what I'm hearing. Um, but that is what I have for you all. Um, thank you all so much. Um, Here soon, I don't know how long, um, but I'm gonna have a surprise, that I'm very excited to announce. But we'll talk about that when that comes in. Regardless, but again, thank you all for all the support. If you're wanting a reading, or any of the other services that our office offer, feel free to shoot me an email or use the link in the description. Um, but thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, energetic or uh, financial. It doesn't matter. I appreciate both of them equally. But I love you all to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. And I will see you later.